One quick second here. I'm just waiting for this thing to load up. All right. All right. All right. So welcome to everybody joining us online. Um, we're gonna get into this lesson today. Helping our people to decolonize their minds, man. You know, the destruction of the so-called Negro community has been the fact that his mind is destroyed, man. You know, the Most High says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind" in Romans 12 verse 2, right? In the New Testament it says, "Be not conformed." Sorry, in I think it's First John 2 verse 16 to 17, right? The Most High said, "Listen, man, don't be like the world." Right? All that is in the world, the desire of the flesh, the desire of the eyes, and the pride of life is not from the Father, but from the world, man. Right? If you read on to verse 17, it says, the world, it says there it's passing away, but I'll go into King James and get a better idea. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of Yahweh abideth forever, man. So the world is passing away, man, right? The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life is not of the Most High, man. It's of the world. Thinking about Rolexes and the next house you're gonna buy, and getting a Lambo and how much money in your bank account. These are worldly thoughts, man. You understand? And this passes away, right? But the person that do the will of the Most High endures forever. And the big secret that the world has been keeping from the so-called Negroes is that we are God's priests, the biblical Israelites, his holy people, right? And so I'm here today to um, uh, reveal some secrets, man, and to help you to decolonize your mind. A colonized mind thinks everybody's one. It thinks God is not real, or it believes in religion. It believes the Savior is a so-called Caucasian, which is a Edomite. I mean, all kind of madness is believed, man, when your mind is destroyed. But a sound mind knows that the laws, statutes, and commandments written in the words in the Bible are the words of the real creator of the universe, man. A sound mind lives by these words because they have tested these words and found them to be true, right? So today we're gonna get into, Donald Trump, man, right? What Negroes need to know about Donald Trump. And we said before last week that the first thing they need to know is that he's in the Bible, man. He's mentioned in the Bible, right? And we ended off by showing that he's mentioned in the Bible as one of the uh, kings of fierce countenance that would destroy the Most High's holy people. You know, a Greek, an Edomite, man, one of the horns or the kings, one of the rulers of Edom, right? So this week we're gonna go even deeper into it um, and show you the role that he plays within the scriptures specifically. He's mentioned first as one of a long line of kings or rulers in the Edomite kingdom, and then he's specifically mentioned as doing particular work uh, within the scriptures as well. And we're going to get into that today. So the question we want, last week we asked ourselves a few questions. We asked these four pertinent questions for those that missed it. Or rather, we made these statements and then we went about to prove them. Um, we read Daniel, I believe it was 8, yeah, from 18 on down, and it said that the king mentioned. Actually, let's just read it for reference. All right. Saba, let me get that. Daniel 8, 18 to 24.
Now, as he was speaking with me, I was in a deep sleep on my face toward the ground. But he touched me and set me upright. And he said, Behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation. For at the time appointed the end shall be.
The time appointed the end shall be. Now, there's a bit of an echo happening in the background. I don't know if you have to mute the output of your phone or move a bit, move to the table where you're further away from KK and them, but I'm hearing an echo. All right. Um, read on.
The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia, and the rough goat is the king of Grecia, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king.
Mm-hmm.
Now that being broken, whereas four stood up for it, four kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but none is power.
So stop right there. So the scriptures is letting us know this is an angel explaining a vision that Daniel had of the end of days. Now, Daniel had a few different visions of the end of days. One was of a statue, and the end is signified by Edomite kingdoms that can't get along. The feet were made of clay and iron, right? So they couldn't get along, even though they were the same kingdom, right? And then Daniel saw beasts in Daniel 7. And then now he's seeing beasts again in Daniel 8 and it's being explained to him what's going on. And so what the angel has shown Daniel is that these beasts represent nations. The Medo-Persian Empire in verse 20, the kingdom of Greece in verse 21. And then he tells you that when the Greek kingdom is first set up by Alexander the Great, we know that because when you go to First Maccabees 1:1, it tells you it's Alexander the Great, Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian. Um, he tells you after that kingdom was set up, the great horn that is on that kingdom is gonna break, right? And we know here from verse 21 that that represented its first king. And then he says after it breaks, four other kingdoms are going to stand up out of Greece, man. And these four kingdoms gave birth, as we studied last week, and in many other studies before, they gave birth to all the so-called Caucasian kingdoms or countries, you know. And this is just the surface of a much deeper um, prophecy that involves the book of Second Esdras as well, right? Also involves the book of Revelation and many other books in the scriptures. Okay, but we're giving you the Cole's Notes version, right? So he tells you four kingdoms gonna get set up out of the Greek kingdom, right? And when it says but not in his power, it just means they're not gonna have the same power as the original Greek kingdom, right? And then he goes on and says what in verse 23?
And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up.
Right. So the Most High is letting us know in the latter time of the Greek kingdom, which was split into four, all these particular things are gonna happen, right? And we listed these particular things and went and studied them. So a king of fierce countenance is gonna stand up. What else is gonna happen? Verse 24.
And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and holy people.
Okay, so stop right there. So going back to 23, it says in the latter time of their kingdom, okay? So this has to happen at the end of the so-called Greek kingdom, man. Then he tells you, they're gonna destroy wonderfully, they're gonna prosper and practice, and the key here I want to look at is they're gonna destroy the mighty and holy people, man. This ruler is gonna destroy the mighty and holy people, right? What else is gonna happen? What else is this ruler gonna do? 25.
And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand.
Right. So that's a lot of things, right? He gonna set up policies, right? To cause a deceit, trickiness to prosper in his hand. So he's gonna trick people into, giving him power, man. Right? He gonna magnify himself in his heart, meaning in his mind, he gonna say he's the greatest. He's gonna use peace to destroy many people. Talking about his peacekeeping, he's bringing peace, he's trying to bring stability, and he's gonna destroy many people in doing so. And if you pay attention to geopolitics, you already know which nation did this. You know, you already know which nations did this, which succession of rulers did this. They're all so-called Caucasians, man. Colonizers, man. The so-called white man, right? And then it says, he shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand, right? Right. So last week we looked at, hey, this cannot be talking about one king unless this king were an immortal, right? It says he's gonna have mighty power, destroy wonderfully, destroy the mighty and holy people, so on and so forth. It's talking about a nation of people. The king is Esau, man. And as we look within the Edomite kingdom, we can start to pick specific kings that did particular pieces of this puzzle. So these are the four things that we pulled out of this to look at last week were that the king has to be a Greek, meaning an Edomite descendant, right? These kings uh, have to destroy a great distance from the 5th century BC when Daniel was written. Um, and this king must fight Yahweh man, right? Actually, the third thing is that all these things must occur in the latter days of the kingdom of the Greeks, man, right? And lastly, this king must fight Yahweh the prince, all right? Who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ being the name of the image of the beast, right? And not the Messiah. So when we tackle the first point, um, trying to see if Trump fit the bill, he did, man. He's a Greek descendant. He's an Edomite. Okay. So today, trying to see if Trump fit the bill, we're gonna ask, is the destruction Trump bringing a great distance from 500 BC or 200 BC as the scholars say, right? Either one works, but we know our brother Daniel is no liar. So 500 BC is correct. But even if you were to go with the Edomite and the scholars' dates, you're still going to find that the destruction that Trump is bringing um, is a great distance from uh, at the time of Daniel, right? So we can ask ourselves, is 2025 a great distance in time away from 200 BC? I'm posing this question to you guys on the line. Is 2025 a great distance in time from 200 BC? Because the scriptures say that in the latter time of their kingdom, they're going to do certain work. Saba, is 2025 a great distance from 200 BC?
Uh, no.
Kara, is 2025 a great distance from 200 BC? KK,
Yes,
is 2025 a great distance in time from 200 BC?
I don't know.
All right. So we'll do this then. Um, let's see here. One quick second. Where is the paint? Is this it? No. Paint, paint, paint. Where is it? We have the year 0, 100 BC. So if we go all the way here this way to 2025, is this a great distance? Saba,
Yes.
how many years? You just gotta add 200 to the 2025. What's that? What's that?
2,225.
So the destruction that Trump is currently doing is 2,225 years from at least 200 BC. It's even more from 500 BC. Be 2,325. That's over 2,000 years, family. It's certainly a great distance. It certainly fits um, the clues that we're looking at. But think about this. The 15th century, 1500 BC, when transatlantic slavery began, is also a great distance from 200 BC, right? As is 1865 when Jim Crow started, and 1954 when the civil rights movement began. So how do we pinpoint the exact time period the scriptures are talking about, right? Well, we do that by adding together all these clues, by adding together the other clues about the last days that we have found in the precepts, right? So what other clues do we have? Well, let's look at Obadiah and we'll read verse 8 to 10. Let me get that, KK.
In the day that thou stoodest,
From verse 8 to verse 10.
shall I not in that day seek the Lord, even
Yahweh,
even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that everyone of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
you see that? So the Most High said that in the day that he's destroying Esau, he's gonna destroy the wise men out of the nation first. So this is a big clue, right? He said he's gonna take out understanding out of the mount of Esau as well. Now, anyway, I'll address it when I get there. And he says, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau will be cut off by slaughter. What is the mount of Esau? That is the nation of Esau, right? And then why is he doing it? Well, he said because of the violence that they perpetrated against the so-called Negro man, who is the biblical Israelite. For the violence against your brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever, right? And every day that we look upon the earth, violence is being done to Jacob. This is a video I found 2 days ago of a sister coming and trying to order something in a restaurant, and a security guard just giving her a hard slap in her face, man. Right? And pushing her out of the restaurant, you know? So every day violence is done against Israel, man. You know, right? Edomites, all these nations abuse us, man. You know, and why? Because Esau has cheapened your entire existence. He gave the whole world his wine, telling them that you are worthless. And they drank it. So they treat you like you're worthless. This is Isaiah 51 and 7. Is that what I want? I think it's Jeremiah. I want you to Jeremiah, not Isaiah. I want Jeremiah 51 and 7. And it says, Babylon had been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken, man. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. Right? So all the nations have drunken of the wine of Babylon, man. And Babylon represents this Edomite kingdom. Assyria represents this Edomite kingdom. Egypt represents this Edomite kingdom. It's the same kingdom. Satan rules this kingdom just like Satan ruled all those other kingdoms. And you can see it because they all have remnants of Babylon in them, be it the eagle, be it the obelisk, be it the pyramid, be it the Eye of Horus. It's all the same folly, devil worship, you know. In any case, the point here being, the Most High says in Obadiah that he's going to remove the wise men out of Edom. So now we got to look around and see, well, have the wise men been removed from Edom? Right? Specifically looking at Trump, is Trump a damn fool, man? We got to ask ourselves that, right? Well, let's look at some evidence. Let's look at Exhibit A. In Exhibit A, Trump's policies are considered destructive to America and beneficial to the rich. All right, let's look at that here. Trump's executive orders mean real rampage to the U.S. economy, communities, and clean energy gains. Nobody voted for any of this, and it's not what most of the country wants. Okay? And this is by the president and chief executive officer of this organization, NRDC, man. Right? And you can look into them. Says 2 weeks in, the Trump administration has launched the worst White House assault in history on the environment and public health. And all of government assault with potentially devastating results for our communities, our economy, and our future, man. Right? If successful, it will also raise costs and limit choices for consumers and businesses. Far from putting America first, the administration is putting oil and gas profits first and putting the rest of the country at risk. He says, here are a few examples. Halting the development of wind energy means higher electrical bills and a less reliable power grid. He says pulling the United States out of the Paris Climate Agreement leaves other countries to write the rules for the energy economy of the future. Right? So he's like, America's giving up our leadership position, man. You know? He says making electric vehicles more costly to buy and build limits consumer choice and puts domestic workers and car makers at a competitive disadvantage against their Chinese and European rivals. Right? That's the Asians spoken of in the scriptures where the Most High says Asia wants to be like Edom, right? And then you have you know, uh Europe as well, right? With one head of the eagle who pretty much is out of the race. He says here, locking in ever more, and by the way, in this he's including Vlad with Russia. Okay, so I mean the UK, the central portion is out of the race. Vladimir is leading the East. That's what's really happening. And we're going to see that in the scriptures. Lastly, he says, locking in ever more LNG exports decades into the future will force consumers and businesses in this country to compete in the global market for domestic gas, meaning higher prices for gas, more drilling, or both. And then goes on to say nobody voted for this, but somebody else asked for it. Who? The billionaire oil and gas donors Trump solicited to help bankroll his campaign. That's what this is all about. So you got a man coming in to rule the nation that really only gives a damn about his brethren's pockets, man. He's not hiding his teeth, you know. Exhibit B says, Trump says the most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariffs. Trump says the most beautiful word in the dictionary family is tariffs. What are tariffs? Tariffs are taxes on your own people that have limited benefits, um, all at the cost of your own citizens, man. That's what a tariff is, right? Let's look at the exhibit. This is from The Guardian. It says the most beautiful word in the dictionary, Donald Trump's tariff plan. I'll read a little bit of this. Guardian US-based editor Dominic Rush explains why the president-elect wants to impose tariffs on imports and the risks it poses to the economy. Again, somebody else saying Trump is risking the economy. It says senior China correspondent Amy Hawkins talks to the potential of a wider retaliatory trade war with China. Tariff, Donald Trump has said many times, is the most beautiful word in the dictionary. While there are, by the way, family, if you're not speaking, please mute your line because I'm hearing a little bit of background noise. It says, while there are many political positions that the incoming president seems to have adopted later on in life, as the Guardian US business editor Dominic Rush explains, his commitment to tariffs is long and deeply held. So this is not new, right, for Donald Trump. It says, and he has announced last month, as soon as he enters the White House again, he will seek to impose tariffs of 25% on all imports from Canada and Mexico, as well as an extra 10% on products from China. The China one he already did. The Mexican and Canadian one, he's what's the word? He's postponed for 30 days. It says uh, Mexico's he's postponed for 30 days. Canada's I think it's for 30 days as well. I think it's till March as well. Don't quote me on that though. He certainly has postponed it though. It is a policy that partly Trump uses as a threat, a negotiating tactic to try to force concessions from some of America's biggest trading partners on unrelated issues. So he's using the trade tariffs threat to basically bully countries in something else that he wants. It says, but it stems from conviction too, and a belief that a tariff regime has the potential to bring back manufacturing jobs right across the US. Still, as economists warn, it could cost each household in the country up to $2,500 extra a year. Will Trump actually go through with this plan? And if he does, will those jobs come back anyway? Meanwhile, senior China correspondent Amy Hawkins tells Michael Safi, that China has spent a lot of time preparing for Trump's tariffs, with the potential that the world economy enters a trade war that could be painful on all sides. All right. So the man called taxing your own people, um, the most beautiful word in the dictionary, man. A tariff, this is from Investopia. A tariff is a tax imposed by one country on the goods services imported from another country to influence it, raise revenues, or protect competitive advantage. I want to see where it tells you that the people are the ones that end up paying it. It may not, because it's just a quick search. But if you look into it yourself and read a bit more, actually maybe Infestopia might let us know here. Let me just have a quick gander. There it is. Tariffs often result in unwanted side effects such as higher consumer prices. And how it works is this. If I put a tariff, say 100% tariff on um, electric cars imported from China. When you import an electric car from China that costs 20 grand, when the car gets to the country, you also have to pay me, the government, another 20 grand because the tariff or the tax is 100% on the particular item, which, if I remember correctly, Trump has actually done. So there's 100% tariffs on particular things. For example, electric cars from China. So instead of paying 20 grand for the car, you're gonna pay 40 grand for the car, right? Which limits your choices. Now you gotta go and buy a gas guzzler from the US because it's the same price or it's just as expensive, or it might be cheaper for you to just buy the local one, at least right out of pocket, but in the long run, you're losing still, right? So this is a tariff is really a squeeze on you by your own government, man. And this is what Trump says is the most beautiful thing in the whole world, right? I have never heard any president say anything like this in my life. I have never seen it reported of any president um, taking this stance, you know. Exhibit C, his name is literally Trump. His name is literally Trump. That shows you the Mosai is removing the wise men from Edom. Which card is the Trump card, family? Somebody help me. Which card is the Trump card?
The Joker.
The Joker, man. The Fool, they call it. The wild card, the Trump card. The best bower, the Fool, the Bird, the Madman. These are some of the attributes that describe a Trump card, man. This is who's running America right now, man. There he is. So when the Most I tell you, you're gonna remove the wise men from Edom, and you look and you see he removed the wise men from Edom, you can start to see where we're at in prophecy. So this prophecy about the Most High in Obadiah 1, 8 to 10, removing the wise men out of Edom, is specifically targeting Donald J. Trump, man. Let's look at another prophecy targeting him, showing you this guy in the scripture. Yahweh says that Edom's former allies would wound him before his destruction, right? Let's read Obadiah 1, and we'll read 7 and 9. Let me get that, Sabs. Obadiah 1, 7 to 9. Go ahead.
All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border.
Actually,
The men,
before, hold on. Go from 6.
how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up?
So stop
All,
right there. The Most High says, all Esau business, I'm telling it. All the things that he tried to hide, I'm exposing it. And here's the exposing. It's laid naked and bare before the world on the damn news, man. And he's giving us the secret meanings of these things in the scriptures. And so watch the Most High put out his business. What the Most High say here?
all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border.
Mm-hmm.
The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee
Mm-hmm.
and prevailed against thee.
Mm-hmm.
They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee.
Mm-hmm.
There is none understanding in him.
So stop right there. The most I tell you, these same people that you partnered with before that help you to do all your wickedness, the principal portion being destroying the Israelites, they deceived you, buddy. They were not really your friends. And the most I tell you, if a man tell you come and be a thief with him, don't go, right? Because thieving lead to murder. And you yourself gonna get caught up in the trap. The Most High tell us that in Proverbs, I believe it was the first chapter. We looked at that on a new moon. And now it's happening to Esau, man. The people that you worked with against the children of Israel, the Most High say they deceived you, man. Now they're beating you. Not only are they beating you, they stabbed you in the back, buddy. And you still don't get it. Let's look at who this is talking about. Who was Confederate against the Israelites with the USA, man? Who was Confederate against the Israelites, to put it in ancient terms, with the Edomites, but have now turned against Edom? But God wrote this in the Bible, man. He told us who it was, you know? Anybody know where that is? Can anybody tell me where the Most High shows who was confederate against the Israelites to destroy us with who were confederate with the Edomites to destroy the Israelites? Does anyone know? Going once, going twice?
Repeat
The
the
Me-
question.
Sorry, one at a time. Sister Rach, you were saying something?
the Persians, the Mede and Persians.
Yes, definitely they were in there. Um, you know where we can find the list, because he has a list.
All right. Like the Africans too. I remember
Hmm.
I think the Africans were called as well.
That's right.
Um, was it in Genesis?
Mm-mm.
Huh?
No. Sounds, you wanted to say something?
Never mind, I forgot.
It's in Psalms, the 83rd chapter, right? We go to this all the time, right? The 83rd chapter of Psalms lets you know who exactly was confederate against us, right? This thing is just loading. We'll go there. See if I can close this. Do I have too many things open? Is that what's happening here? Okay, that should be good. All right. Uh, from verse 2 here, it says, actually, I'll go from verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace. Be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. This is a lot of information right off the bat. You know, King David is telling the Most High, Father, don't be silent. Do something. Because the people that hate you, hey, they lift up their head, man. They're proud. They're arrogant. They don't believe that they can be defeated. They're standing up strong. He says they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. Did they destroy the people outright, bold face? No, man, they did it through crafty counsel, man. They made it look like that's not what was going on when that's what was going on. That's why it's so difficult for our people to wake up. Their minds have been colonized, man. They've fallen victim to the wine, to the golden cup in Yahweh's hand, which is Esau, the so-called white man, man. He's a golden cup. Who doesn't like to see a golden cup? Who don't want to drink some wine from a golden cup, man? Only the people that burn out Babylon and their dirty, greedy, disgusting sodomite system, man. That's who, man. The one that sees the destruction that the king of wickedness brings, man. That's who. That's who, man. But most people see the golden cup and they're like, ooh, a golden cup. I mean, look in hip hop, man. Look at these pimps on the street, man. In is it Atlanta or is it the West? I think it's in the West, on the West Coast, man. These pimps got pimp cups, man. And everybody sees it and it's dazzling and they're attracted to it. And it's a trap. Just like the Babylonian lifestyle is a trap, you know. The crafty trap, you know. It says, so there's people that laid crafty counsel against the Most High's people. And they did what? They consulted against the Most High's hidden ones, man. Right? What was the plan? Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So their whole plan was to get us to forget ourselves, who we are. And the Most High said they succeeded in Jeremiah 17 and 4. They consulted together with one consent. What happened? This is the Confederate. This is the confederacy the Most High is talking about in the book of Obadiah. They are confederate against Yahweh himself, man. And then he names them. Tabernacles of Edom, Ishmaelites of Moab, Hagarenes, Gebal, Ammon, Amalek, Philistines, the inhabitants of Tyre, Ashur. All of them helped the children of Lot, and the children of Lot are the Ammonites. Okay, Shalom. So, who was confederate against the Israelites with the U.S. in modern terms, or with the Edomites in ancient terms? And they've now turned against the Edomites, the Hamites, who are so-called Africans, Ishmaelites, and Assyrians. Let me pull this up here. Um, Ishmaelites and Assyrians. Sorry, Ishmaelites and Assyrians. Okay. Hamites, Ishmaelites, and Assyrians. Right? And of course, yeah. That's who was confederate with Edom. Right? And these are Africans. Hamites are Africans. Ishmaelites are Arabs. Okay. Assyrians are so-called Persians. Okay. That is Iranians. Okay. Respectively. Right? And how do we know um that the Assyrians are Persians? I have this receipt here. This is from the Library of Congress, the American Library of Congress. Country profile, Iran. Says formal name, Islamic Republic of Iran. Short form, Iran. Term for citizen, Iranians. Capital, Tehran. Other major cities, so on and so forth. In the modern era, Iran always has existed as an independent country. What did I want here? This is what I wanted. Early history. This is of Iran, eh? The first Iranian state was the Achaemenid Empire, which our sister Rachel just spoke about. The Medo-Persian Empire. That's what the Achaemenid Empire is. It's the Medo-Persian Empire. These are so-called Iranians today, right? So the first Iranian state was the Achaemenid Empire established by Cyrus the Great in about 550 BC. Alexander the Great conquered the empire in 330 BC. That's giving you the historical record of the rough goat defeating the ram, okay? Which was the Achaemenid Empire. The Achaemenid Empire was made of Japhites and and uh, 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 Persians, okay? Assyrians, Japhites and Assyrians. And then here at 7, receipt for the Iranians. Says before the revolution, the United States was Iran's foremost economic, technical, and military power. This facilitated the modernization of Iran's um, infrastructure and industry, with as many as 30,000 American expatriates residing in the country in a technical, consulting, or teaching capacity. Some analysts argue that the transformation may have been too rapid, fueling unrest and discontent among an important part of the population in the country and leading to the revolution in 1979. So, um, again, showing that the Iranians, let me see here. Oh, oh, oh. Just a second receipt to show that the Iranians are so-called Persians. One quick second. Early relations. Oh, oh, I remember why I pulled this up. I wanted to show that the Persians and the Edomites were friends at a point in time. Okay. This is why I highlighted this. It tells you before the revolution that the United States was Iran's what? Foremost economic, technical, and military partner. So they used to be partners. But like the Most High said, the people that used to be your friends, they lay a wound under you, man. Right? Edom, you've been tricked, right? So how did they lay a wound under the Edomites? Well, they did it by forming bricks, man. Right? Anybody know about bricks on the line?
Yes,
Like there's an actual organization.
Yeah. Was that you, brother Chris, or was that brother Winston? I heard another voice there.
it was Winston. So one BRICS dollar, I think, is 55 Canadian.
You're joking.
Yeah, and 33 something American. I'm around that figure. I might be off by 50 cents or so.
That's incredible, man. Wow. Wow. I didn't know that was the exchange rate right now.
A lot of people don't. They keep that quiet.
That's incredible, man. That is absolutely incredible. So I mean, talk about undercutting the US, man. You know? I think I have a small excerpt here I wanted to read on bricks. Uh where is it? Oh yeah, just this part here. So what are the origins? For those who don't know, the term was originally coined by Goldman Sachs economist Jim O'Neill in 2001 research paper in which he argued that the growth of what was then the BRIC countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, was poised to challenge the dominant G7 wealthy economies. Now, this is very important, family, because you're looking at Edom, you're looking at uh, uh, I think I don't remember who these guys are. Elam. Elam, you're looking at Japheth from the Medo-Persian Empire, and some of the Indians are also Persians as well. And the Brazilians are Edomites as well. So you're seeing the man's own nation plus his former partners, now they're working against him, man. You know? It says they were poised to challenge the dominant G7 wealthy economies. Russia was the first to remember to mute your lines, guys, when you're not talking. It says Russia was the first to call a convening of the four countries. Who was the first? The eagle head on the right-hand side, man, in the east. That's why I tell you guys, Russia is the one really running the east over there, right? I mean, it's in the scriptures, and when we look up the records, we see that they're the ones, man. And they started this whole damn thing. Russia was the first to call a convening of the four countries, a decision analysts say was driven by Russian President Vladimir Putin's growing desire to create a counterweight to the West, man. Another wing on the eagle, man. Another head, sorry, on the eagle, man. Russia hosted the first official BRICS summit in 2009, and South Africa joined a year later. Hamites from the Confederacy in Psalm 83 by invitation from China. forming the five-country grouping that would persist for more than a decade. The next wave of expansion came at the 2023 BRICS Summit, with invitations extended to six newcomers: Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates, right? So, I mean, Beer Ishmaelites joined as well, man. And Ishmael was helping him to destroy us, man. All accepted, except Argentina, after its newly elected president, Javier Milei, pledged to turn the country into a pro-West direction, saying that it would not ally with communists, right? So all praise to the Most High, man, that this guy's confederacy now turn against him, right? So, this wounding is a major clue, right? Because it pinpoints what? The fall of Edom, man. Edom was not wounded by their allies before. They never received such a wound as this. When you look at the monthly, when you listen to the monthly prognosticators, the analysts, the geopolitical analysts, they all tell you America is falling to China. That's what they say, not knowing the secret things that it's really Russia, right? They're saying what they see with their eyes. They don't have a spiritual mind and they don't have the scriptures, nor do they have understanding of it. This wounding is a major, major clue. And we're seeing the wounding happen right before our very eyes, family. So that's how we know what time we're in. That's how we know when this was talking about the destruction of Edom happening a great distance in the future. We know it wasn't talking about the 15th century transatlantic slave trade. We know it wasn't talking about Jim Crow time. We know it wasn't talking about civil rights movement, because America was not getting this licks that it's getting right now from its former allies, right? As another clue, Yahweh said that the whore of the world would be hated and destroyed, right? Which is right around the corner, right? Her allies turn against her, and she will be hated and destroyed. And we could see the hatred for America growing on the world stage, you know? Let's go to Revelation 17. Okay, we're good for time. Revelation 17. Watch this. Brother Winston, did you want to do some reading today?
Yes, sure, Dad. Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Give me 3 to 6 here, please.
Okay.
Revelation 17.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names and blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
Right. Before you read on,
Okay.
I just want to say, remember, in Jeremiah 51 and 7, we read, the Most High say, Babylon has been the golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made what? That did what? Made the whole earth drunk. Then he says, all the nations have drunk of the wine of her fornication. Therefore, the nations are mad. Now, I mean, I'm kind of paraphrasing. Let me just make sure the fornication part is in there, regardless of what it tells you, that, yeah, all of them drunk of her wine, and therefore the nations are mad. Well, what wine? Well, right here we're we're getting to see um who this golden cup is. Say Babylon's a golden cup. Now the Most High is giving you a different what do you call it, metaphor for Babylon. A woman arrayed in purple scarlet, right? Purple is royal colors. Scarlet also royal colors, decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. She's rich. She have a golden cup in her hand. What's in it? It's full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication, man. Right? And that's the cup that she made the whole world drunk with. Her abominations and the filthiness of her fornication. And it's gonna come out as we read on. Go ahead.
Okay. And the woman was a okay. Oh, no,
Five.
okay. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And
I
I
mean,
saw,
that's plain. Hold on. That's
yeah,
plain.
mhm, right.
He put it on her forehead in case you're wondering. Yeah, this is Babylon that I'm talking about. This is her, you know? Read on.
And I saw the woman drunken with blood of saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jehoshai. And when I
Hmm.
saw her, I wondered with great admiration.
That's it, right? And this woman was drunk with the blood of the saints, man. She was killing bare Israelites. She had killed as, too many Israelites, right? And as we always say, every day, man, Israelites are getting killed by America, man. By Babylon the Great system, chiefly in America, man. Every single day. America killed more Israelites than anybody else, man. Because in transatlantic slave trade, man, they got all the bodies, man. You know. Now we know most of our people went to Brazil. Many of our people, actually, more people went to Brazil than to North America. Uh, 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 but um, what do you call it? America is the one that whose hand was in there, man. You know. No one has killed more Israelites than America, man. You know? That's why the Most High say she's drunk with the blood of the saints. Drunk. Lynchings and for pregnant women and youth and old men and knocking out people's teeth so they will eat and dragging them behind horses and branding and she's drunk, man. Hop down to 8.
So go straight to 8 or from 6 to 8?
No, just hop down to 8 and then we'll
Okay.
read from 8 to 18 and then we'll break down this part.
Okay. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition.
Right?
And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is.
Right. Go ahead.
And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, on which the woman sitteth.
Right. So pay close attention. The 7 heads of this beast are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. Go ahead.
And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space.
Go ahead.
And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition.
Yeah.
And then 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast.
All right. Go ahead.
These have one mind, and shall give the power and strength unto the beast.
Mm-hmm.
These shall make war with Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful.
Mm-hmm.
And he says unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And then the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
So stop right there. I wanna let's see. The 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings. They
Mhm.
receive no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. And these same 10 horns, it says, going to hate the whore. Where we are 16. Yeah. The 10 horns, these shall hate the whore. These particular kings gonna hate the whore, right? Make her desolate and naked, eat her flesh, and burn her with fire, man. America's own um former allies. This is just a precept to show you again. America's own former allies are going to destroy her. You know. 17.
For Yahweh hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman which thou sawest in that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
Is that great city, right? So
Oh,
no,
Sawest is that great city, yeah.
yeah. So he said you don't have to guess. The woman on the beast, that's the great city that reigns over the kings of the earth, right? So let's break this down because there's a lot here. Verse 9, 7 mountains. How are we doing? Okay, we're good for time. So verse 9 says, and here's the mind which have wisdom, the 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. All right. So the 7 mountains are anybody have an idea of who the seven what the 7 mountains are? No?
Did we just name them? I think like those countries that were against Israel.
That's a good guess. Yeah, you may be right, but I know them by their um political their geopolitical alliance name, which is the G7.
Or like the NATO, is it? Or,
NATO is the horns,
okay.
but the G7, there's literally a seven-headed beast um that America rules or rides upon, and it's the G7, right?
Oh, is that what it's called now?
No, NATO is different than the G7.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So the scriptures are breaking down uh NATO and breaking down the G7 because you have the G7, then you have 10 horns that are also giving their power unto the beast. And if the white Jesus is the image of the beast, who's the beast? According to Daniel 7, who's the beast? The fourth kingdom upon the earth that's gonna be mighty above all other kingdoms, stamp down the whole entire world with much oppression. Whose kingdom is that? Is that the Edomite kingdom, Japheth kingdom?
Edom.
Edom. Edom is the beast, man. Right? So he tell you about the seven-headed dragon, and then he tell you about the 10 horns. All this is part of the beast. NATO is part of the beast. G7 is part of the beast. The 10 horns are 10 other countries giving their power to the beast, man, to the G7, you know. The group of seven, it says here, is an intergovernmental political and economic forum consisting of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK, and the United States. And there you have Japheth again. Woe unto thee, Asia, right? Because you desire to be like Esau, man. I'm gonna have to bring out that scripture. Asia keeps Japheth keep poking his head in there. Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK, United States. In additionally, the EU is a non-enumerated member, right? So you can think about this in a few different ways, right? Is it EU and not Japan? Or is it Japan and not EU? What do we have here? Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, US, and the EU, right? So if there's an odd one out, it's not going to be the Edomites, right? In any case, um, I want to go here. Verse 16 lets us know that they have 10 kings who will hate the whole. You got 7 mountains, 7 nations, G7, and then you have 10 kings in addition that's going to hate the whole, man, right? And now that starts getting into NATO, man, you know? How do we know? Well, you'll see, right? Verse 15, because I just want to highlight a couple verses here. Verse 15. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth are people, multitude, nations, and tongues. Who is sitting upon people, multitude, nations, and tongues? Which nation?
Edom.
Edom. Verse 6. I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. When I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. She have to be drunk with the blood of the saints. So that's a clue. She's the great city which reigneth over all the kingdoms of the earth. Who is that? Specifically, what is the name of the great city that reign over the kings of the earth? What's
America.
America is not a city. Your answer is right, but America is not a city. I'm just dealing with this kind of on face value of what it's saying. When we look into it, um, yeah, I'll leave it at that. What exact city? What is the city that America rules the world from?
Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C., man. So now we got to make sense of this. Is the Most High just destroying Washington, D.C., or is the Most High destroying the whole of America? That's what we got to ask ourselves. That's how we're going to know that this, when it says great city here, it's not just talking about a city, it's talking about the whole place. And we're going to see that later on in the scriptures, right? This is why precepts are the only way to understand the scriptures. Because you might see city here, town there, but it might be talking about a whole place. It might say a land where never mankind dwelt, which so many Israelites are stuck on. But it tells you the wilderness was a land where no man dwelt. The wilderness that the Messiah put us proved us in when we left Egypt, man. It just means nobody was living there. It doesn't mean nobody ever went through there before, man. And man, no one was living there, man, when we went there, you know. In any case, let me see what I got in chapter 18. Hmm. All right. Hmm. So the whore is who? Who's the whore family? From verse 15 here. The waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are the peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues.
You mean as in country, like America?
Yeah, that's what I was asking exactly. Who is the whore that the scriptures are talking about? And you're correct in saying that it's America, right? Let me see if I can give you guys another precept. You know what? I'll just mention it. Read Revelation 18, okay, on your own time, because I really do want to get through this. So read Revelation 18 to add to that on your own time, and let's move on. 17. Just give me a sec. Where is the mountains? Right, so we have some precepts on the mountains. Says the seven heads of the beast are seven mountains on which the woman sitteth. Okay, so let's go to Isaiah 14 and we'll read verse 13. Let me get that, please, KK. Isaiah 14, verse 13.
Okay.
So the mountains are the nations, right? Let's get some precepts on that. Go ahead.
For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh. I will sit upon also upon the mount of congregation
Mhm.
in the
Mhm.
side of the north.
In the sides of the north, right? So the Most High is talking to the king of Babylon here in Isaiah 14. This is one of the best chapters in the Bible. And he says, for thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. The stars of God, of course, being the 12 tribes of Israel. You can find that in Genesis, the 30, I want to say the 33rd chapter, 35th chapter. Don't quote me on that though. So, but if you just look at stars in the book of Genesis, you'll find it around the chapter 30 something. It says, I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation. Which congregation, man? The 12 tribes of Israel, right? So when you see mount dealing with in the scriptures in dealing in prophecy and in visions, the mount represents people, man. a nation of people. That's what the mountain represents, right? So let's go Psalm 48 and 2. Let me get that, please, Sister Kira, if you're available to read.
Yeah, I can read.
Yeah, go ahead. I have two scripts for you, this one and then another one after. Go ahead.
Am I starting from verse 1?
Just verse 2 is yeah, go ahead. Start in verse 1.
Okay. Am I reading what's in the brackets too?
No,
40. Okay. All right. Great is great is great is Yahweh, and greatly to be praised in the city of our God, in the mountains of his holiness.
in the what?
Mountain of his holiness.
All right, cool. So that's actually a physical mountain. Go ahead.
Beautiful for situation. The joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion, on the sides of the north, the city of the great king.
The city of the great king. And Mount Zion represents who? The nation of Israel. You understand? That's who Mount Zion represents, the nation of Israel, right? Sometimes he uses Mount Zion specifically in the context of Judah, but 9 times out of 10, he's talking about the nation of Israel. So this is another clue showing you that the mount, even if they didn't tell us explicitly, we could find it through the scriptures, through the precepts, what this thing means, you know? Isaiah 2 and 2. Go ahead.
Verse 1 or verse 2?
I'll just read verse 2.
Okay. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow onto it.
I mean, that's pretty plain, family, right? It shall come to pass in the last days, the mountain of Yahweh's house. Who is the mountain of Yahweh's house? Shall be established where? In the top of the mountains. Does that mean we're gonna have a city at the top of Mount Everest? No. It means we're gonna be ruling the entire world. And he says, it shall be exalted above the hills. So what else is a metaphor for nations? Hills. And then he tells you, and all the nations shall flow unto it. It's not an actual physical, well, there is a physical mountain on which the temple is, but that's not what he's talking about. The mountain of Yahweh's house are his people Israel. Well, it's a double entendre. He's talking about the literal mountain of the temple, but also his people. And how do we know that? Because he says it shall be established in the top of the mountains. Now, the mountain in Israel, Mount Zion, is not higher than Mount Everest. You understand? Physically, but spiritually, the people of Israel are above all people on the face of the planet, you know? And he tells us that from Deuteronomy I believe it's 28 and chapter 1, you know? And he says, and shall be exalted above the hills, right? So we're going to be exalted above all other people, man. And then the nation's going to flow onto us, right? Going back to Revelation. Going back to Revelation 17. And verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Right? So we know the mountains are the nations. We know the whore is America. We know the seven mountains are the G7. Now, when they say that the 10 horns will hate the whore and will burn her with fire, well, let's see what exactly that's talking about by using the scriptures. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 12. Right? 2nd Ezra chapter 12. And we'll read verse 11. Let me get that, please, KK. I mean, not KK. Yeah, go ahead, KK.
Where?
2nd Ezra chapter 2, verse 11.
The eagle whom thou sawest come
That's up.
up from the sea. It is the kingdom which was seen
Which was seen.
in the vision of thy brother Daniel.
Right. So then Ezra sees a vision, and the vision is actually explaining what Daniel saw. Right? So the angel says to him, the eagle you saw come out of the sea in your vision is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of your brother Daniel. What kingdom did Daniel see? He saw the kingdom of the Greeks. He saw the Medo-Persian Empire and all of them, and it ended with him seeing the kingdom of the Greeks. The Bible just told us the eagle is the kingdom of the Greek. So when you look on America flag and you see an eagle, these are the Greeks. These are the ancient Edomites. These scriptures are the type of glue that makes it irrefutable that what we're saying is correct. The eagle is the kingdom. Just looking at these scriptures, the Most High called the same kingdom a whore, a eagle, a beast. What else? A whore, a eagle, a beast, mountain, Babylon. I'm sure you guys can see what's happening here. The Most High have different metaphors to break it down, man. I mean, you think we're good at rapping, man? Wait till you hear Yahweh 16. You know? You think we're good at singing? Wait till you hear the angels bust a tune, man. You know? So it's the beast from Daniel. The eagle is the beast from Daniel. Let's jump down to 22. Let me get that, subs. 22 to 25. And these are chapters, in the week, you guys should go and read these whole chapters for yourself, man. That should be your study, your Bible study. You read chapter 11, you read chapter 12, right? Because when you read the whole thing, it solidifies the truth. I'm giving you guys the precepts, piecing the puzzles together, but when you have the context, it helps you to see, it also helps you to catch if I've made a mistake or not, you know? In any case, give me 22 to 25 here, Sava.
And whereas thou sawest three heads resting,
So, so,
this
so Ezra had saw, three heads of the eagle resting. We looked at this a bit last week. Go ahead.
this is the interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
In his last days shall the Most High raise up three kingdoms, and renew many things therein, and they shall have the dominion of the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and of those that dwell therein which with much oppression, above all those that were before them. Therefore are they called the eagles, the heads of the eagle.
Right. So these damn Greeks, these Edomites, gonna have dominion of the whole earth, the Most High says, man. In his last days, in the latter time of his kingdom, according to Daniel 8, man, with much oppression, before anybody else that was ruling before them, even, above the old Greek kingdoms, man, they're gonna oppress people even more than that. And what's gonna happen? Verse 25.
For these are they that shall accomplish his wickedness, and that shall finish his last end.
So he says, when he renew all things, these three that he set up, they gonna establish the end of who? Esau, the end of Esau's kingdom, right? Let me get a precept on that. Esau is the end of the world. That's what the Most High say. And Jacob is the beginning of the world that follows. Second Ezra 6:9, for Esau is the end of the world. Hold on, we just learned that it was the Greeks. But here he's saying Esau. So what does that tell you? The Greeks are the Edomites. The Caucasians are the Edomites. Britain, Russia, and America are Edomite kingdoms. I pray that this is plain for you to see now. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Righteousness, man. You know, everlasting righteousness is who's ruling next. You know what I mean? Is what's ruling next. Give me 26 and 27. So sorry, before I move on, the eagle has three heads: Britain, Russia, and America. Right? That's the three heads of the eagle set up at the end, and they are gonna bring Esau's kingdom to an end. Thus saith Yahweh, man. I didn't make this up, you know. I didn't just say that and made you guys watch 2 hours of geopolitical reports, man. We're going through the scriptures here, man. The book of secrets and revealing the secrets, you know. Go ahead, 26 and 27.
And whereas thou sawest that the great head appeared no more, it's it signifieth that one of them shall die upon his bed, and yet with pain.
Mm-hmm.
For the two that remain shall be slain with the sword.
All right. The two that remain shall be slain with the sword. So which eagle died upon his bed and which are left for war, family? Right? Even if, what's your hunch? What do you see from the precepts we've been putting together? Right? We got three nations: Britain, America, and Russia. Three heads of the eagle. Which of these died upon its bed with pain, and which are left for war?
America.
America died on its bed?
No, Britain did.
Which died upon their bed? Because here it says, let me see. One of them shall die upon his bed, and yet with pain, and two that remain shall be slain with the sword. So, which nations specifically are these talking about? Who died on the bed, and which are the two that remain for war? Try again, brother Winston.
You think it's going to be America and Britain?
Left for the war.
Yes.
So then that would mean that Russia died upon its bed.
Right. But that don't make sense. So I think it would be Russia and America would be the ones who would be slain by the sword.
That's it. Russia, because and Britain has already died upon its bed. How do we know? When you pay attention to geopolitics, everyone tells you America was born out of Britain. Britain had the world dominance, and they lost it to America. And then the Most High literally made the queen die in her own bed. You see? You see what you see here? An official death certificate published a week after Queen Elizabeth died listed the cause of death as old age. She literally died in her bed, man. Yahweh is the power. She literally died in her bed. And their empire was done way before that. He ended it with the death of that queen in her bed. Nobody, Europe's done for. Done. Done. They gotta decide, are we gonna side with Putin, or are we gonna side with America? That's what's going on right now with the UK. They have no power. I mean, do they even have a military? Let me just check here. I don't even think they have a military, like an army. They have a military, but their own army. Okay, so they do have an army, mainland warfare branch of the British Armed Forces, ready to fight and win wars on land. In any case, it's not impressive. Where does the UK Army rank? Seventh. Okay, they're seventh in the world. US, Russia, China have the world's most powerful militaries. So in case you were wondering which is which, you have some real world receipts letting you know. They're all the way at the bottom, and you got the US and Russia and and China with the most powerful militaries. Okay, so the brother's right. It's the UK that's dead in the bed, and the two left for war is America and Russia. All praise to the Most High. And then read verse 28 now. This is now pay careful attention. We're getting to the end. Pay careful attention. All right, watch this. Go ahead. Go ahead, Savs. Let me get verse 28, please.
For the sword of the one shall devour the other, but at the last shall he fall through the sword himself.
Read it one more time.
For the sword of the one shall devour the other, but at the last shall he fall through the sword himself.
All right. So, what nation is now at war with America? Remember, it says the ten horns gonna hate the whore and burn her with fire. Okay. In another place in the scriptures, it tells you here in the west is gonna be a land uninhabited. He gonna leave it for I can't remember what he names the creatures. Okay, he's burning the whole damn place. Thermonuclear destruction. That's what America's gonna get. So what nation is now at war with America and the Most High says that they're gonna burn her with fire? Now that we know who the what the final showdown will be between the Eagles, what nation by name is at war with America and the Most High said they're going to burn her with fire?
Russia.
Russia. So according to the Bible, Russia is going to destroy America with fire. Allied obviously with America's what do you call it? Former allies. It's not me saying it. It's right there in the scriptures. Because he tell you two gonna get left. And he said the whole gonna get burned with fire. If the whole gets burned with fire, who's left? Who's the last nation left, family? Hmm?
Russia.
Yeah. So when the Bible says, ye shall fight against the prince of princes and shall be broken without hand, who is that talking about? Who specifically is going to fight against Yahweh Shai and be broken without hand?
Russia.
Who? Which leader?
Vladimir Putin.
Vladimir Putin, man. He's gonna be the last man standing because America's gonna be burnt with fire. So then, last question. Oh, well, not the last question, but I guess last question in this section. What king or ruler specifically? Because remember, this whole study is about what Negroes need to know about Donald Trump. That's why we went and did all of this study to see, is this guy in the Bible, man? And what's it saying about him? So that being said, what king or ruler specifically is causing the whore to be hated, to be fooled, and leading her into a war to be burned with fire, man? Which leader is doing that right now, family, if any?
Donald Trump.
Vladimir Putin.
Right now, Vladimir is causing America to be hated, fooled, and leading her into a war to burn her with fire. Remember, we looked at the scripture where he says he's
It's
removing the wise men from Edom,
it's
right?
Donald Trump.
It is. It's Donald J. Trump, man. The wild card, the joker, the fool, right? The king of fierce countenance who's saying send all these immigrants back to their country, man. He's causing America to do its final fall, man. I have quite a few geopolitical videos on our channel on a playlist called essential news and history. If you go through those, it will make it even more crystal clear that this is the man destroying the hell out of America and bringing them into their final destruction. There you will also find out that all empires have a finite time. As the scriptures tell you, the Most High set up rulers and he take them down. Why? Because he gives every nation a chance to rule. That's why Daniel in Daniel chapter 2 saw the statue of Babylon with all made of all different kind of materials representing different kingdoms. God is not insane. Yahweh is fair beyond measure. He gave every nation a chance to rule to see what they did with it. And you know what they did with it? Wickedness, man. Deny him, destroy his people, destroy the world. Wickedness, man. So the last little rock that's gonna hit the statue on the foot, gonna topple the whole regime, and the rock is gonna turn into a great mountain to fill the earth. I should have brought out that scripture to show that the mountain is is uh is people. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth, man. And this stone is the Israelites, man. Just truth. Dashing stones at the glass house, man. And that truth is going to grow into a great mountain and fill up the whole entire earth, meaning a large nation. Okay, so where am I at? Yahweh said that the destruction would occur in the latter time of the kingdom of the Greeks. Is everything I've described happening in the latter days of the kingdom of the Greeks, family? Hmm? I think the answer is pretty obvious. This Greek kingdom has been on earth since what? I don't even remember what year Alexander the Great established the kingdom. 336. 336, since 336 BC, man. But this Greek kingdom has been here for over 2,000 years, man. So this is certainly the latter time of the kingdom of the Greeks. Out of the last two kingdoms of the world, which one will fight Yahweh Shai? Brother Winston, out of the last two kingdoms of the world, which one is gonna fight Yahweh Shai?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. Can you repeat the question?
No, I said out of the last two kingdoms of the world, out of the last two heads of the eagle, which one of them will fight Yahweh Shai?
Russia?
Russia. That's who will amass the armies of the world and tell everyone it's an alien invasion. That's a whole other study. But the scriptures tell you that they're gonna tell the world it's an alien invasion, and they will stop the war that they have one against each other, and they're gonna band together to come and fight the King of Kings, and he's gonna destroy them, you know. So, all that being said, what Negroes need to know about Donald Trump is he is the harbinger of the destruction of America, man. The fool under which America will die, man. That's who Donald Trump is. So for our brothers and sisters, playing politics, you're doing the wrong thing. Really, you should be separating yourself from Babylon, man. Spiritually become a different person. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Realize you're an Israelite, not an American. You're an Israelite, not an African American. You're an Israelite, not an African. And come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of your God, and you shall surely live forever. As a ruler on this earth, and the same way you got to kill yourself working for them, these other nations got to kill themselves and send everything to you every day, forever and ever, as it was designed from the very beginning. Knowing this, let's wrap up with um, just these one, two, three, these four more scriptures. Let's get that Baruch 4:28. Let's get that Baruch 4:28. KK, let me get that. Go ahead.
For as it was your mind to go astray from God, so being returned, seek him 10 times more.
That's it. Don't play around with Yahweh, man. It used to be your mindset to go away from the Most High. Now, build your life upon the rock. You understand? This rock is not shakable. Israelites have never built their house upon the rock of the Most High. I mean, as a whole, as a nation, you know, I have not done it in over 2,000 years. And the Most High said, you at the end would be the ones to come back and do it. So do it and do it with all your might, you know. Let's get verse 27 to verse 35 here in Baruch 2. Let me get that Sister Kira.
Sorry, what verse?
27 to 35.
Oh, okay. O Yahweh our God, thou hast dealt with
That's
us,
yeah, that's us, yeah.
us after all thy goodness, and according to all that great mercy of thine, as thou spakest by thy
That would be servant.
oh, okay. Sorry. As thou
Yeah,
spakest
it's the 1611 version, so it's a little bit weird.
okay.
Yeah.
As thou spakest by thy servant Moses in the day when thou did command him to write thy law before the children of Israel, saying, If ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations, where I will scatter them.
You hear that? The Most High says straight, if you will not hear my voice, all these people, I'm gonna turn them into a small number of people among the nations where I will scatter them, not where they will go willingly by a boat. I'm gonna scatter them there. I'm gonna send them there on boats in the bottom of them, not sailing, after the Assyrian captivity. All right, go ahead. 30.
For I knew that they would not hear me,
Mm-hmm.
because it is a stiff-necked people.
Mm-hmm.
But in the land of their
Captivity.
captivity,
Mm-hmm.
they shall remember themselves.
Right, in the land of their captivities. How did they get to the land? As captives, family. In the land of their captivities, they're gonna remember who they are. Go ahead.
And I shall know that I am Yahweh their God, for I give them a heart
Ears.
and ears to hear.
Yes. So, I who give us the mind and the ears to hear? The Most High, man. He said, I shall give them a mind and ears to hear. They'll remember themselves. I'm gonna make sure. Go ahead. 32.
Sorry. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name, and return their stiff neck, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds. For they shall remember the way of their fathers, which sinned before the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their father,
Mm-hmm.
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob,
Mm-hmm.
and they shall be lords of it.
Yes, lords, masters, rulers of the land when we get over there. Go ahead.
And I will increase them,
Mm-hmm.
and they shall not be diminished.
Hallelujah. Go ahead.
And I will make an everlasting
Covenant.
covenant with them, to be their God, and they shall be my people. And I will no more
Drive.
drive my people of Israel out the land that I have given them.
Hallelujah. Right. I got two more scripts. Brother Winston, if you could give me these. I'll read Sirach 25. Sirach is also called Ecclesiasticus. Sirach 25, 7.
There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that has joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy.
Hallelujah. And that's not talking about obviously your enemies of Israel, because the Most High tell you concerning your brothers and sisters who are your enemies, if they hungry, you feed them, and so on and so forth. These are the enemies of the Most High in our nation. Um, all praises. And I got Baruch 4 and 25. Go ahead.
25 or 24?
25.
My children,
Oh, you can go from 24 though. That's
okay.
nice, yeah.
Like Like as now the neighbors of Sion have seen your captivity, so shall they see shortly your salvation from Yahweh,
Hmm.
who shall
Hmm.
come upon you with great glory and brightness
Hmm.
of the everlasting.
Hmm.
My children, suffer patiently the wrath that is come upon you from Yahweh, for thine
Hmm.
enemy has persecuted thee, but
Hmm.
shortly thou hast seen his destruction, and thou shalt tread upon his neck.
But surely that my children, dear our Father, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from me, not me, but him, right? He said, for your enemy has persecuted you. Who's been persecuting you all the time? Your enemy, man, not your friend. And then he said, don't worry, shortly, family, you're gonna see his destruction and you're gonna tread upon his neck, man. Right? So remember these things. All praises to Yahweh via Yahweh Shai the Prince. Amen, amen, and amen. Be encouraged this day, this week, and forevermore, our great family. And for those who gonna watch this on YouTube, if you wanna walk with the Most High and return to your Hebrew roots, ye Negroes, follow the channel. You other nations, who actually want to serve the real God and not the devil, basically that religion has told you was God. Go ahead and subscribe as well. And for the enemies of the Most High, the Most High has reserved you for the treading upon of your neck, right? He has reserved you to utter destruction, and you shall surely have it, right? And that's to you Edomites. Okay. So all praise to the Most High, and I will see you guys who were online next week. And for those who are in the class, just hold up. We'll